So I found out that I could literally just slide on the top grass. I just crossed my legs like this. I just slid down. I'm like, whee. It felt like a second slide. It was cool.
Kyle, yes. Kyle has taken up fall sledding.
I'm mature, guys. I just wanted you to know that. I'm so mature. I sledded on AstroTurf, essentially. It was great. It's fantastic.
There you go.
It's perfect for that,
Hey, it's... Yeah. I don't know. I have no comment on that matter. I'm going to let it slide is what I'm going to do.
Wow. And I thought I was the one with the dad jokes here. Wow, geez. Not bad.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I am Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, how are you today, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Just another week and another Tuesday in that week that I was talking about. How are you doing, by the way?
I'm great. Way to pull that one out. It's all right. It happens to the best of us. Me more so than others, but still, it happens to the best of us. No, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And we are very excited to be back with another episode tonight. Got a very interesting topic to talk about, which we'll get into here in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to just send a quick shout out to our lovely sponsors, Zyman Organizing and Wes Woodson, definitely the pillars of our show from a support point of view, and also big supporters of Marvel at the Movies and the Sports Blitz. So definitely please go check those two shows out as well if you did not already or haven't already. We definitely appreciate the support, and also shout out to Doug, the third member of our YouTube trilogy crew here. But yeah, so like I said, Wes Woodson, Zyman Organizing, and the links will be in the description. So, for tonight's episode, we're going to go into some current events, because in the last week there's been some big Boston area sports news that has developed that we both actually somewhat were paying attention to, and so want to talk about. And that is that the head coach of the Boston Celtics, who, by the way, if for those of you who don't know or don't remember, are the defending Eastern Conference champions. They made it to the NBA Finals last year, folks. Just a few short months ago, the Celtics were playing in the NBA Finals. They were 2 wins away from winning an NBA title. Now, fast forward a few months, and their head coach, who led them to the Finals in just his first year as head coach, Ime Udoka, it was announced officially on Thursday of last week that he has been suspended for the entire 2022-23 season for a violation of organizational policy, organizational rules. Now, again, this was a pure Celtics decision. This was not something where he violated NBA rules. This really wasn't anything legal either. It was more just from what we can gather, and again, there are still many details that have not yet come out. We may never know the full story, but the bottom line is that from what we can gather is that Ime Udoka had what we believe to be a consensual relationship with a fellow member of the Celtics organization, another staff member within the Celtics organization. And after it was found out, and after an investigation by an independent law firm that the Celtics brought in to investigate, it was deemed that he violated organizational guidelines, and the decision was made based on the violations, as it was put, to suspend him for 1 season. Now, again, there's a lot kind of that's still unknown. Was it fully consensual? Were there some unwanted, did it start out consensual and then turned into maybe some unwanted comments or advances? Those have been some of the reports that have been coming out. a lot of it is still speculation at this point. But yeah, there was definitely a lot to digest in a 24-hour period when the news sort of broke. First Wednesday night, that there was the potential that he would be suspended, to then during the day on Thursday when it was officially announced. Actually, it was Thursday night that was announced, because that literally was officially announced right at the end of the recording of the latest Sports Blitz episode that Doug and I were doing. I remember we were talking about at the very end. But yeah, he's been suspended for a year, and his future beyond that is very up in the air. It really, they say a decision is going to be made at a later time. So that's I'm just sort of setting the baseline here of what we know and what exactly has gone down from a factual point of view to this point. Mm-hmm. So, Kyle, listen, I know, you and I have often talked about that you are, not the biggest basketball follower out there, but even you were, sort of telling me earlier that you had, sort of been following along somewhat with this and had some opinions on it. So I guess what I wanted to ask you first is, when you first found out or learned that this situation had happened, what was your sort of, before, and this may even before you got even more information, what was your sort of initial reaction when you learned of the suspension?
So I was really surprised, because like you said, he had taken the team very far, but it just when I read more into it, I was like, why did he get suspended? This isn't something you hear about a whole lot every day. But when I found out, that he was having a relationship with someone, I'm like, okay, I guess that's not the end of the world. I didn't react very strongly until I think it took me maybe an extra day or so. I kind of read even further into the situation. I just kind of read, I think literally the title of an article basically, and I was like, oh, okay. And I asked someone about it, and they didn't really know much about it. But when I looked further into it, I was a little taken aback. I kind of slowly was like, oh, this is pretty serious. So I can see why they did that. I had no idea that he was not technically married, but fiancéed, I guess you could say, with...
he was engaged, yeah.
Engaged, yeah. With... fiancéed, wow. Yeah, put that in the dictionary, guys. Let's go.
New word next year is going to be fiancé, courtesy of Kyle.
Yeah, there we go. You're welcome, dictionary. So I when I heard that not only he was with her, but also that I think he had a couple kids, right, with her?
Yeah, that's the thing I'm not 100% clear on is and I'm going to do a little in-show research here, because I wasn't 100% clear if they were her, kids originally, or if, oops, something's happening.
Sorry, I'm just fixing a couple things. Anyways.
If they were, both their kids, or if they were her kids, or, I'm sort of doing a little in-show research here, because I don't want to misspeak.
That's fair.
So they do have a 10-year-old son.
Okay. Because when I read all that, I'm just like, wow, it's one thing, I guess, if he was in a consensual relationship with that person, and and that was that. But the fact that he was not only in a questionably consensual relationship with that other person, while basically in having him cheat on Nia Long, and just kind of basically abandon his family, they're not abandoned, but basically cheat on his family for why would you cheat on Nia Long is what I'm trying to say. Why the hell would you do that?
Well, and that's interesting, because that was sort of one of the first things I thought of when we were sort of discussing doing this episode, because obviously you are a big movie buff, as we've well established on the show. Nia Long, pretty well-known actress. I mean, from throughout the years. I mean, obviously a lot of people, myself included, remember her from her Fresh Prince of Bel-Air days. As Will Smith's fiance. but yeah, obviously she's been obviously she's been in other things. But yeah, I kind of wanted to get, because I know you and I were talking about beforehand. You kind of had a pretty strong opinion that you wanted to kind of get off your chest there. So I guess I'll kind of let you take the floor here and talk about a little bit about that aspect of it. The fact not only the fact obviously cheating is a bad thing regardless, but just sort of from your perspective, being the movie guy, knowing that Nia Long is this actress and is very good looking woman. Just what's your take, Kyle?
Why would you cheat on her? Why? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, she's an incredibly beautiful actress, and I'm sure she's very, very nice, very kind. I don't know if they had any kind of like issues together. I don't know what was up with that, but like, why would you cheat on her? She's beautiful. See, like, why? I'm sorry, dude, but like, I can't really side with you if you're gonna cheat on Nia Long. Like, I will never side with anyone who cheats on their wife or fiance, but I will especially not side with you if that person is Nia Long. like, why would you do that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, honestly. I don't understand, like, what the whole and when it's someone in the organization, like, was it someone who was like considered? Was it someone closer to his age? Was it someone younger than him? Like, what was up with?
Again, we don't know, and we may never know like the full details because the Celtics are being very, due to privacy issues, which makes sense.
Actually, that's a good strategy because we don't want this to turn like a basketball version of like Monica Lewinsky and that whole thing. We don't want that to kind of balloon up the way that.
Again, there's a lot of speculation out there, and again, we just simply don't know the full story. So I hesitate to really go too much into speculating because we could be dead wrong, and it just would not be a good look to try to piece together something where you just simply don't have all the facts of the matter.
Exactly.
And we know what we know, as we always say, and we definitely. I feel bad for in a sense for everybody involved. I mean, obviously, Nia Long, the family, like the Celtics team, like the players who really did like this guy and really respected him, and played hard for him last year, getting them to helping get them to the finals and all that stuff. And now all of a sudden, like literally days before the season is supposed to start, like literally they opened up training camp today. And like 4 days in advance, you find out that your head coach is going to be, is not going to be coming back like for the entire season. So like, obviously the players are definitely processing a lot of emotions about that. And you could tell like yesterday at the team's media day that like there was, still a lot of raw emotion about, about what had happened. And so it'll be interesting to see, I think, from my perspective, looking at it from like, the basketball side of things, how the team kind of responds to what has happened. If they kind of, struggle with it and thus have sort of a struggle of a season, or if they like maybe use it as like motivation or like a catalyst to like really get after it this season and try to, prove everybody wrong and try to, not only for themselves but just for everybody to try to make another deep run, like another run out of the title. Because like heading into the season before this all came out, the Celtics were like one of the favored teams to like get back to the NBA Finals, to be like a contender for an NBA title. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think for me, obviously from the basketball side of things, like how this ultimately impacts the team when they take to the floor for actual games starting up, within the next month or two. So,
so just why would you cheat on Nia Long? Like, just I don't understand that. I don't comprehend that. Like, she's a goddess. She deserves better. Like, why would you do that?
Right. No. I mean, I totally agree with that. I think that it's just a bad situation all around, and we will see, in terms of his future with the team, like what happens down the road. Obviously, this season is determined, but it remains a question of will we ever see him, coaching a game for the Celtics again? Like it again, just a lot of unanswered questions, and maybe this will be a blessing in disguise for everybody. I don't know. We will have to sort of wait and see what happens, but definitely it was kind of a crazy. Last few days in the Boston sports landscape, just with all that going on, and then on top of that, you had like other Boston sports related stories going on. So it's just kind of the last 7 days. I feel like it's just been like sort of a roller coaster of different news stories and sort of results on the field also that have not been the best. It's just been kind of a tough last week for Boston sports fans in general. So, anything else you want to add on the matter, or?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. So
cool. Well, again, just we'll have to wait and see where it goes from here, and it's time. Time will tell. What I'm trying to say. Time will tell. In terms of how it impacts the Celtics this season, again, the future of Ime Udoka and just a whole mess of things. So, we shall see. But we are going to move on to, I think, what I would consider brighter topics, sort of the end portion of our episode, and that is obviously the Robbie's favorite / fantasy football recap and the Sue's reviews. I'm going to go first and say for the favorite football side of things that this past weekend, just to put it loosely, kind of sucked for the Robbie's favorite football teams. Because, let's see, Saturday afternoon, Wellesley High football lost to Walpole in their home opener. It was a very close game. They were up actually 9 points heading into the fourth quarter, and then Walpole scored back-to-back touchdowns to win it there. So, tough loss for the team, but hopefully they can bounce back. They'll be back at home facing New North on Saturday afternoon. So looking for sort of a quick, short memory and quick turnaround, and try to get back to 500 and get back in the win column this week. And then BC football also lost on Saturday, and they got basically destroyed by Florida State. 44-14 was the final. At Florida State, a BC football team that, despite high expectations heading into the season, has just not played up to them whatsoever so far, as they fall to 1-3 on the season, and they have definitely a tough slate coming up, so it doesn't get any easier, as they'll be back at home this coming Saturday as well to take on Louisville, and so that is tough. And then to top it off, on Sunday, the Patriots, they lost their home opener against the Baltimore Ravens, so they now sit at 1-2. But more importantly, quarterback Mac Jones, suffered a high ankle sprain at the very end of the game, as expected to, at the minimum, miss a couple games, maybe more, which is very tough because the Patriots, those of you who know the Patriots quarterback depth chart, know that after Mac Jones is quite the drop-off there, with Brian Hoyer expected to start in his place, and it could get very interesting here for the Patriots. But they are back in action this coming Sunday when they travel to Green Bay to take on the Packers. So we shall see. Definitely with Mac, it's like you just kind of shake your head and just sort of strap yourself in for the ride, because you just really don't know what is going to happen with this team, especially depending on how long he has to miss with his injury. In terms of the fantasy football recap, I actually didn't do half bad this weekend. So as I've mentioned before, I'm in 3 leagues, and 2 of my leagues I won in. And then the third league, which actually was, unfortunately, I was undefeated in the third league that I lost in this week. So now actually all 3 of my teams, coincidentally enough, are all 2-1 on the season, which is not bad. So I'm right above that that 500 mark there, and hopefully I can get all teams to 3-1 this coming week. We shall see. I mean, there's been a lot of different injuries and guys, questionable and stuff like that. So my lineup might look very interesting this coming week. We shall have to sort of wait and see how the rest of the week plays out in that regard. But yeah, I mean, hey, listen, to win 2 out of my 3 leagues is not bad. Just couldn't quite pull it out in the 3rd league, but regardless, I move on and I persevere. And so now I am going to turn it over to another edition of the segment we all love so much, at least I know I do, the Student Reviews. So, Kyle, why don't you take it away with this week's edition?
All right, so this one won't be too long, because there's a lot of shows and stuff I want to get to, but I really want to talk about this movie really quick, just because it's fresh in my mind. But I won't get into too many plot details, because it is a movie that I think you guys should see just for yourself, just to see how you like it. It's a movie called Barbarian. It's actually it's definitely, it's a horror movie. And it starts off with this lady who tries to, she basically gets sort of, she goes to an Airbnb that she's staying at, and there happens to be another person there. And it's kind of this weird mix-up that this person apparently had the same address that she did. And that's pretty much how the movie begins. And that's where I'm going to stop. And so from there, it's kind of, she basically just kind of runs into this guy that was already staying there, and they're like, oh no, and she's kind of very unsure about this guy, and then like I said, like, I'm not going to get too much more into detail. It's a movie that starts off a very certain way, and then it just goes into like a completely ridiculous, crazy direction, and I thought it was brilliant, just the way it was shot, it's just a really, really great movie to watch. I had a lot of fun watching it. I just thought it had a lot of thrills, and it really had a very tense atmosphere, and you don't really get that a lot in horror movies nowadays, especially American horror movies. This one I thought had a lot of great build-up, and I actually really liked the leading actress. I thought she was a very smart character, because in a lot of the horror movies, there's all these characters make really dumb decisions, and it was kind of refreshing to see a very smart character for once. So it's just a very well made movie, and actually you're gonna laugh at this one, Robbie. What was funny?
Let me perk up here.
Yeah. What was funny was that the director of photography for the movie was none other than, I'm sure you'll remember this guy's name. Apparently I can't remember his name. Jesus Christ. It was our friend Zach.
Zach Agish?
Not Agish. Hold on. Why can't... Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I'm going to have to edit this. It's terrible.
Oh, what's the name of it?
Sorry. The director of photography was actually none other than Zach Cooperstein from our class.
No way.
Yeah, dead serious. Look it up on IMDb.
Whoa, that is wild.
Yeah, I had no idea that.
It was funny. I was kind of just joking around, but naming a Zach from our high school class. It turns out it was another Zach from our high school class.
Like, literally another Zach from our
oh, that is too funny. Well, hey, good for him. Good for him. I remember he was always kind of like a big, sort of video, sort of film buff back in those days. So I'm happy that he is doing great things. Oh yeah, very cool.
Yeah, right. Like, he has his own IMDb page and everything. And he's done a few movies already too. So, and he's done a bunch of short films, and he's kind of getting more into more bigger budget type movies. And this movie, I thought it looked incredible. I just had such a great time watching it. And then it was just funny, seeing in the end credits. I'm like, oh my God, I knew that person,
Hey, you go, Zach. Way to represent 781.
Was it?
Very good. Good for you, man.
That was a hell of a movie. Like, I loved it. So, yeah, if you guys get the chance, if you don't mind little thrills and little horror.
Hey, you should see. I don't even know how you're getting coming. You should see if he wants to come and marvel at the movies.
Oh my god, yeah.
That'd be pretty wild, huh?
That would be insane.
Zach, if you're watching this, you should go and marvel at the movies.
If you have time and your busy schedule, I'm sure you're totally welcome on our show. So we'll have you anytime. But yeah, no, like definitely go check it out. Barbarian, it's a great movie. Just go right into it. Like, especially if you don't mind horror movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, go right into his concept. You literally have to walk right into the screen and actually join the movie.
Yes. Oh, God, no. Don't ever do that. Oh, oh no. I wouldn't want to walk into that movie. Oh, jeez. But yes, yeah, do it.
Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Just do it.
Anyway, well, thank you, Kyle, for that lovely review. And again, big congratulations to Zach on all the success and continued success. So, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. I want to thank everybody who joined us tonight. And remember, you can find us right here on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. And you can find us on Instagram. And also, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell as well. We would really appreciate it. And tell your friends, too. Do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. All right.
Nike.
I'm going to stop now. But anyway, again, big shout out Zyman Organizing and Wes Woodson for their support of the show, as well as the support of Marvel at the movies and the Sports Blitz as well. Big shout out to those two. Big shout out to Kyle for showing up tonight. Really appreciate it.
I like being on here, Robbie.
You just like being on the couch, you know?
I do.
You're a big couch guy.
I'm a big couch guy.
So anyway, that does it for this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, he's Kyle. I'm Robbie. And this is, again, a couch. And in case you didn't know, and we will see you next time here on A Couch Talking Sports. Bye, everybody.